send me to my grave.
What? Big bitch gonna beat it death from me.
Yes, yeah.
What's up, everybody? I'm Gymkhana Josh, and welcome to Beyond the Apex, where we talk about motorcycle everything and then some. And tonight's show is a very special show. It's a very special day, especially for me. Before we even kick things off, I want to say happy birthday, United States Marine Corps. Hoorah! Semper Fi, brothers and sisters. 245 years of winning America's battles. I appreciate all you brothers and sisters out there. Other than that, tonight's show is a very special show as well because we have Len with us. He is the host of the Arrive Alive podcast. It's all about safety and motorcycling, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. Before we get to Len, let's talk to my co-host Butter, who you can see over to my left now. Butter, what's up with you, man?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's been a little bit of a layoff, but we back. So yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks. We had the election going on and people falling out. But first and foremost, happy birthday to the Marines. You know, I got a shitload of Marines on the team and mad military children. So God bless them all and thank them for their service. Tomorrow's a really special day because someone who was like a dad to me passed away, and his birthday's tomorrow, so it makes the day even more bittersweet. So the days fall together. You know, his birthday, Veterans Day, and the Marines. You know, he was in the Army, but he still served our country, so it makes it a little bit special. So I'd like to dedicate the show today to John Matos. And also I have a friend who's been really sick lately, and we've been in and out of touch, but she's doing a lot better now. Her name is Jay, and I just want to send her condolences and love and wishes and best wishes, and get well soon, Jay. I love you. You already know. You're always in my heart. And it's special. I got to ride with my daughter all weekend, finally, after 7 years. My daughter again. She's a 15-year-old going on 16. So it's been bittersweet. I had a great weekend. We rode all over. We must have did a couple hundred miles. So it was a great weekend with that.
Beautiful thing.
I'm a dad all over again for little girls. It's expensive and sweet at the same time. So, so let's move forward. So there's a lot coming up. Some events were canceled. Shout out to Black City. They're putting out their coming out party November 21st. If you're a fan of Black City, anybody who knows Black City knows that they're an amazing charitable motorcycle MC club. They feed the city on Fridays. If you're interested in helping feed homeless and people who don't have food, please reach out to Black City. Every Friday they're out giving out food and stuff like that. So they have a coming out party on the 21st. Contact your local Black City rider. If you're down to come out and show love, it's going to be a really great event. Hustle Kings will be there for sure. The snacks of Thunder Guards, the father-daughter ride out is going to be rescheduled. So you look out for that flyer too. I know a lot of people reached out. It's fathers and daughters, fathers and sons, mothers and sons. So it was supposed to be a great breakfast ride out, but special circumstances have changed that. So you can reach out to any 730 Boy members or Snacks. You already know. If you know him, definitely reach out. November 22nd is the first autism committee meeting. Hustle Kings is going to put together one of the biggest autism events the city has ever seen. I'm going to rock the fucking city. I'm going to rock this bitch. I'm working with guys from all over. I got clubs that have reached out to me. This is going to be an epic event. I'm going to try to do this as cordial as possible. I've got a lot of people want to get their hands involved, so I'm going to be holding a lot of people responsible for what they plan to do. So the meeting's going to be November 22nd, 4 p.m. Staten Island at the 730 Boys Clubhouse. If you want, reach out to me, DM me, text me, however you know how to get in touch with me. Please, anything you can bring to the table, whether it be events, cooking, you want to sell stuff, or donate, please reach out to me. So the autism run is going to be April 3rd, which is the day after Autism Day. World Autism Day is on the 2nd, it's on a Friday. So this event is going to be on the 3rd. We're working right now. I'm waiting to speak to a local councilman. There's a big autism light up at Coney Island. So we're looking to do a huge space event, have a lot of people there. So I look forward to anyone willing to want to just participate in any way. Please reach out to me. There's a lot of bikers who have children that have autism. Um, okay, so of course we have. There is going to be in December. There is a senior run hosted by a very prominent 1% Club, which I choose to remain nameless. But those of you that know me that would like to participate with the senior citizens, we do an event where we bring them clothes and blankets and games and stuff like that. We go out to a senior center here in Brooklyn, and we do this amazing run. We've been doing it for over 12 years. I've been a part of it. And I've been blessed to be a part of it. It's really humbling, to come out and you see all these people that their families just put them in a senior home and left them there to die. So they really appreciate days like this. So any people that want to get involved with that, please reach out to me and I'll make that happen. Shout outs to our sponsors, Mike's ProLid, like always, Certified Knee Draggers. We got beef. Carlos, when I see you, I'm cutting your brake line. Knee Draggers, they got some awesome sweatsuits that I haven't got yet, but my co-host got. I'm really upset at that. Yeah, I know. Shout outs to Easy Powder Coating. He's got some new. We're gonna redefine the whole powder coating industry. He just opened up a new shop. He's growing. If you're into powder coating and you want to really do some, just not one solid color, you want to do multicolors, blends. We are going to be doing some serious powder coating. I think I'm going to launch my new 2021 right into the powder coating mix and see what I can do with this thing. Anybody got a frame that they want to give up? Frame, I just want to test some stuff. Please reach out to me. We want to try this new invention with this powder coating. So that's something in the mix. Easy's got some actually, with the Marines' birthday, he actually just posted some new camouflage powder coated rims. I don't know if you guys seen that lately. Check it out on his website. I'll make it quick. I'll finish up. We want to shout out Prospect Power Sports, of course. They always take care of my gear, my helmets, my gloves, my bike work. Shout out to Morocco and my other personal mechanic, Mikey Moto. And so I want to celebrate two Hustle King members who just opened some businesses. My boy Flu, he's my Bronx president. He's my right-hand man. He just opened a new business in Northampton, Eastern PA. It's called InDesign Web Studio Design. So if you need anything with web designing and web hosting and stuff like that, web development, please reach out to my boy Flu, or you can contact me and I'll plug you in if you need any type of designing. And then next door, his father-in-law just opened up a new tattoo studio. So you can check them out in Northampton, PA. It's 1259 Northampton, Eastern Pennsylvania. So check out Saunders Tattoo Studios and InDesign Web Designs. They're they're on the same strip. So, and that's it. And shout out to our new caterer, our personal Hustle King caterer. She's involved in all our Hustle Kings event. Anybody need a great caterer? It's an Asian style catering. It's amazing food, man. I've been stuffing myself for the last few weekends. So I definitely gotta shout her out. Shout out to my girl Jenny. She's the first lady of Jersey. So yeah, if you need any, sometimes we order the same thing, Spanish, Italian, whatever. I think it's a different flavor, and I think it's pretty good to bring it out there. So with that said, let's welcome to the show, Josh. Do your thing, man.
All right. So the name of the episode tonight is Smooth, Safe, Fast, or Safe, Smooth, Fast, however you want to put it. I know there's some Ricky Bobby types out there right now that are thinking, safety? I just want to go fast. But it turns out you can be fast, you can be smooth, you can be smart, and you can be safe all at the same time, it turns out. Go figure, right? Our guest is pretty much out at every meetup in NYC. Every time I've been out, at least, whether that's a demo ride or a grand opening or a bikes and breakfast or whatever the case may be, Len is out there. He's in the community. He's talking to everybody, and he's just out there being involved and meeting people, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing what he does, you know. And he's also got a podcast called the Arrive Alive Podcast. You can check him out at www.arrivealivepodcast.com. We're going to be talking about this evening. We're going to be talking about safety. We're going to be talking about Len himself. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring on Len. Down at the bottom of your screen, you will see Len Bilello, host of the Arrive Alive Podcast. Len, what's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for being here.
What's up? Very happy to be here. And Butter, thank you. And I think I might be able to help you out with some of the food stuff and other stuff so we can talk after that. But thank you.
Okay, okay. That's what's up. I know it's been a minute actually. We've been talking for quite some time. Like I said, I've seen you out at all these different events, and now, what, like 4 or 5 months later, 6 months later, something, finally we get you on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you for finally being with me. Partly on my behalf.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
I would say it's partly on my behalf that it didn't happen. Once we went to
It's all your
No,
fault.
okay, I'll put it all on me.
It's all
But once we went to the Tuesday show, I knew that you were out every Tuesday at Two Wheel Tuesday. So that threw a wrench in my plan right there, right from the get-go.
Right.
But
yeah. That Tuesday night is something really special. I mean, we've all been there. And it's almost like a weekend night for me because it's like 3 hours and I have a good life. I'm very blessed. Don't get me wrong. I have a great family. I have a good job. You have a wonderful daughter. We'll swap daughter motorcycle. Buddy. Just kidding. Just kidding. But they are kind of weird because, like, they all show up with the same bike. It's like, how do you guys know which bike is yours? They all look the same. And they're like, well, we kind of know. We look at the VIN number, and then that's how we tell. I'm like, all right, whatever. But no, just kidding about the Ducati.
Walk them all at the same tanning salon too.
where's the hate mail? Is there like hate talk in the
I'm
chat
gonna
right
get
now?
letters now, man. Forget it. But they got all the money, so let's be nice to them. They'll donate you to your cause. We love the Ducati. And I'm Italian. My mother was born and raised in the north of Italy.
As
So-
fast as the Ducati is, it still can't beat the Cowie.
Really?
Six times.
There's no money in it for Ducati. They don't want to get in that.
Right.
So, as I said in the beginning, episode 22, Beyond the Apex, we're talking about the Arrive Alive podcast, motorcycle safety. It's kind of a sore subject when you want to talk to motorcyclists about motorcycle safety. At least, when you're around town talking at the meets and whatnot, nobody wants to really talk about motorcycle safety. But it turns out that the fastest riders out there, they pay a lot of attention to motorcycle safety. And if they don't, they're not going to be the fastest riders for long. Unfortunately, those are the same guys that are super fast, but we end up being at their memorial services later on.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention to these sort of things. So it's something to keep in mind when you're riding, and there's a reason to check out the podcast. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of different like various characters that you've had on the podcast so far. But before we get into that, please just tell us, how you came upon the podcast, what inspired you to start it, and why you do what you do.
Yeah. Well, I was telling Butter earlier, I went to Fordham University as a teenager. And when radio DJ, but I went to public school. I didn't go to Catholic school, but I figured go there. I was on the radio station there. They have a 50,000 watt station, 90.7, and I was spinning. This is slightly before your guys' time, but I was spinning like deep underground, music, 80s, 90s, Depeche Mode, The Cure, Morrissey, new stuff, and I kind of let that go away, but last September 15th of 2019, I'm going south on Lexington Avenue and 37th Street. And I live on 37th between 3rd and Lex. And I'm on my way to church, and and I had a green light, and a Ford SUV, Ford Explorer, ran a, to, did two things wrong. He ran a red light, and he made a left-hand turn into the wrong lane.
Mm.
0 for 2.
Mm.
So I bounced off of him and onto the ground, and I was wearing a great pair of gear, as they say. I wasn't wearing all the gear, I will say, but I had the best pair of gloves on. And when I hit the ground, I put my hands first, and my hands were fine. I got a little bit of bruising. So when I realized I was going to be okay, I kind of made, I don't want to say too serious or it, but I kind of decided right there and then that I was going to try to make myself a better rider. And I was always like a safe rider. I'm not an idiot. You don't ride for 25 years without being safe.
Hmm.
But I decided I wanted to kind of help myself and help others. And I started the podcast a few months later.
Hmm. And like the people that you have on the show, what is the type of people that you bring on? Who have you talked to so far?
Yeah. So I have been blessed. I had Sherry Ives was one of my first guests. She's a motorcycle instructor in New Jersey. Monica Holmes, who also used to live in Washington Heights around the Harlem area. She is a former pro volleyball player, played volleyball for University of Southern California, coached volleyball at Columbia University here, and had her on. And then by the third or fourth episode, I don't know if you guys seen the movie Why We Ride, the documentary.
Yep.
Okay. So I was on LinkedIn and I emailed Brian H. Carroll, the director. I've seen that movie 30 times. Easy. Easy. And I'll be, hey, I cried at Brian's song. You guys are too young to remember that movie. But
What?
Old guy. Yeah, I got my AARP card, buddy.
oh, you do? Okay. I brought it. Anyway. So, and every time, like half the time I watch Why We Ride, I kind of tear up in some of the scenes, And so I emailed the director and writer, Brian Carroll, and I kind of told him how much of a fan I was. I'd love to have him on the show. And that's the thing about motorcyclists, right? Like, we respect and like there's like a mutual kind of understanding to be nice to each other and good. And he said, just tell me when. And that's when I kind of knew. And this guy has 800,000 followers on Facebook. Okay. The movie is still played worldwide all the time. And we had such a, half the podcast was just talking about the film and what his inspiration was. But right from there, I kind of knew that I had something. Then I had Scorpion Helmets believe in my mission. I emailed them and I said, listen, you don't know me from a hole in the wall, but I'm a Scorpion Helmet fan, and this is what happened. I would love it if you would sponsor the podcast. And they were like, we'll do it. And they sponsored for the first 7 months. And they underwrit, just paid some for some expenses and things like that. And then a motorcycle insurance company called Markel Insurance, which is based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Extremely nice people. They're the sponsor now through the end of the year and hopefully next year. But you're talking about fast and safe. I had this woman, Dr. Rebecca Kuo. She is, I believe, from Korea or Taiwan.
She does track days too, right?
Yeah, so she does track days. She's a spine surgeon. And I said, hey, is that how you get your clients going to the track? But she said something interesting, Butter, to me, because you were talking about it. She said, go as fast as you want, but never be in a hurry. And her words echo to me to this day. When I, hey, I'm on the Robert Moses. I could do a buck. Well, if my parents are listening, I don't do a buck 28. But Mark,
this is live. This is live. I can't censor it. I can't censor it.
On the Robert Moses. No, she knows. She knows. And yeah, so I do about 2 episodes a month. I met so many great people, and it's really fun. It's just been a blessing, and it's sometimes good things come out of bad situations, and that crash, thankfully I survived, was actually a good thing that happened.
That's cool. Well, I mean, you said you live in the city, but I find you up north. I find you in the city too, but I find you up north at different meetups. Like, are you into city riding, or do you live for the twisties, or what kind of riding do you really do?
Yeah, I would rather take 1,000 pins and stick them in my eye than ride in Manhattan. but you got to do what you got to do. That being said, are you familiar with that app next door?
I've never heard of it.
No.
Okay, it's just basically an app where you can kind of connect with your community. And during COVID, I have a trunk, it holds like 3 bags of groceries. So I posted because you couldn't get a personal shopper, an Instacart shopper for 3 weeks. And in Murray Hill, where I live, there's a lot of like elderly people, disabled people. So I pay, if anybody needs a shopper, I'll go shopping. I got a trunk. I'll just keep it down to $75, and I said, please no 5-story walk-ups if possible. So I tried to combine that. Yeah, Manhattan, there are potholes the size of studio apartments in Manhattan.
It's
You guys know
crazy.
this, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's a necessary evil. The first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes of every ride suck. But the good thing is going to work or even going shopping. I can go to, like, there's a Trader Joe's on 3rd Avenue. There's a 20-minute line. But there's a Trader Joe's on 14th. There's never a line. So I just take my thing, go there, and I do my shopping.
That's insider info right there for the viewers at home.
14th. No lines there. But getting out of the city. My parents live on Long Island near the ocean. I grew up, a couple of towns from the sea in Oceanside, New York. I love the Loop Parkway. I love the Meadowbrook, the Robert Moses, of course. Island Park is great. I washed my motorcycle in Island Park at the coin-operated. Well, now they have it. You can take a card. So I'm a little long-winded, as you can tell.
No, man, you're good. You're good. But I mean, how do you? Go ahead.
It's funny you say that. So Josh knows that I have a hashtag called No 5 Boroughs. I don't ride to commute. That's not my thing. I'd rather be in my safe truck in New York City in the 5 boroughs. I'm the early morning type, go out to Poconos, go out to Jersey, Seaside Heights type of guy. I live next to the Verrazano, so it's just right over the bridge, HOV lane, turnpike at about 60, 70, I'm good to go. But I totally get it. I try to promote safety. There's a lot of great riders in New York, Len, and the sad part is that I buried a lot of them.
Did you really?
A lot of good riders, man. And I think what happens is that they've done so well riding, and they've done it all, and they don't realize that New York is just reckless, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I get friends that live out west, Midwest and stuff, and they're like, dude, this is like a suicide mission every day. Like, they travel and they're like, wow, I don't think I have the cojones to ride in Manhattan. And I mean, it makes people think that we're better defensive riders because of the shit we deal with, which I think we do. We become better defensive riders.
You do, I think.
We forget that there's more idiots than there are smart people.
True.
It's 80-20. Everything in life is 80% of drivers are idiots. The other 20 don't. They're just trying to get to where they got to go. Now,
I agree.
I'm in a vehicle 10 hours a day, and I keep my business private, so I won't tell people what I do for a living.
Yeah.
Makes people's life miserable for a living. And I see a lot of idiots on bikes. And people, when they ask me, "Oh, you're a biker?" Like, "Oh, so you're probably biased to it." I said, no. A lot of times I see bikers and I say, that guy's going to have some unfortunate mishap because in the 5 to 10 seconds I've seen him riding and watch him in the distance, he's done about 20 fucked up things. It's sad because it's like he thinking he did something cool. You just made yourself look like a total asshole, dude. And sometimes these guys got patches on, or they're rocking something, or they're thinking they're cool. Yo, my man, you not cool, man. You know why? Because you take the kid out of the city and you bring him to New York safety track.
Different.
And he won't pass 45.
Really?
Listen, I've been riding in New York for 30 years. I didn't start going to New York safety track till about 3 years ago. My friend Andrew encouraged me. God rest his soul, Andrew.
Oh, God.
And he used to tell me, go to the track, go to the track. Like, I don't need the fucking track. I'm ready riding in New York City. When I got up there, I got dusted by a 13-year-old girl. Wow. On a 300. Now I'm up there on a leader bike with 2 105 horsepower that topped out at 197 at the
Oh
time.
God.
And this kid blew by me like if I was standing still.
Wow.
Well, that's not hard, by the way. I said that
Yeah.
before during the show. That's not that hard.
You know, not being a track guy, I found it kind of like holy shit. So, you know, it's true what you say. You know, I think now for me, I don't think speed is a thing. I don't find the adrenaline is there at 150, 160. But what I find now is that turn that I used to take at 35,
Mm-hmm.
take it at 75. Can I take it at 85? So I've always like reached out to the guys at the New York safety track, all the expert guys, and I'm like, all right, how fast were you going when you took turn one? Because I want to know, you know, like where is that? Because now that becomes the adrenaline. You know, you're coming up the strip at 120, 130, but then you got to slam on that brake and get all the way down to like 60 to make sure you don't go flying in the bushes. So the adrenaline is there now. That's my thing. How fast can I actually take this turn? And I think for me, not only does it make you a better rider to know that you can take the turn faster, but you're in a safe environment. I'm not doing it on the fucking Belt Parkway.
That's a clear distinction to make, though, too, is that I think a lot of times, too, just going to the track in itself also does not like warrant you the ability to just do that out here on the street. Once you go to the track and you realize that you can actually push your limits and do it in a safe environment, there's no need to kill it on the street. There's no need to go out here and, you know, take turns at $135. Not only can you not really find them around the city, but it just doesn't make any sense to do that. When you're really trying to get faster and get better, the track's the best place to do it. Sure, there are techniques to pick up at the track to bring back to the street, but you shouldn't be pushing the limits of your tires and pushing the limits of you while you're out here on public streets, for sure.
I agree. You know, I'll go out to Jones Beach. I grew up not far from there, and off season I'll go into the parking lots. Randall's Island has a big parking lot, not as big as Jones Beach, and I'll practice like you know 60-mile-an-hour turns, you know 40-ish, and I get it out of my system that way. To me, being on a motorcycle is like being on a magic carpet. Okay, and you know what? 90 miles an hour versus 60 miles an hour.
No, I'm sorry.
Is not that much of a difference. I've been hit by a New York City bus. I've been hit by a FedEx truck or a UPS truck. Actually, the UPS truck I hit. The bus hit me. It was 2 weeks after 9/11. If you guys, I don't know, Josh, you weren't here, but after 9/11, there were cops on every street corner around, and I'm on the corner of 34th and 8th, right by whatever the JCPenney is or whatever there. And the cop didn't see me, like they never do. The bus didn't see me. He didn't see me, and he hit his brakes a little bit too late, and he tried to swerve, and he clipped me, and I went down to the ground. Thankfully, the exhaust on that bike at that time was on the right, and I fell on the left. And the cops came over, took the bike off of me, and they said, "Hey, do you want us to write up the bus driver for hitting you?" And I said, "How's my bike?" And they're like, "Looks okay." I'm like, "Nah, I gotta get to work."
Damn.
Yeah. And then I was going on vacation 2 days from there. I went down the Blue Ridge Highway, right? And you remember back then they were selling fire department hats on the street, you know, NYPD. And I had this big black leather kind of overall thing, you know, for touring that I would wear. And I'm down in like whatever, West Virginia, and I'm at a Taco Bell. Okay. And I had the hat on, you know, and my beard was a lot fuller back then. And I order like, you know, chimichurri, whatever they had. It's like $9, and I go to pay, and the manager comes over to me and they say, "You know what? Lunch is on us because we're so sorry for what happened, and since you're a member of the fire department hat." And I gave her the money. I said, "No, I'm not. You know, I just bought this on the street to support them, you know." And it was one of the few times, not few, but you know, mostly when you get out of New York, we're not liked in a lot of the parts. They loved me. They loved us. They're like, we're so, and I went on a like 9-day tour through North Carolina, South Carolina, and everywhere. People were like, so sorry. And you know, you remember how that was back then. And then in my first accident, this brings back all fond memories. I was on the hutch, and this is where I was doing 90. It was right around exit 14, Iona College, New Rochelle. And I was riding with this guy, Mitch. and I was 25 and he was like 30,
Why
and
you
he
say it
had
like
like
that,
a
Mitch?
bitch, right? And Butter, you may remember when they used to have a 25-cent toll on the hutch back then, right? Do you remember that? So I couldn't get the money out. So and we were going up to Marcus Dairy. So I'm like, I got to keep up with Mitch. I got to keep up with Mitch. And that I should have been saying to myself, I want to die, because that's what could have happened. And I got really lucky. I was making a turn way too fast. I stood the bike up. This is before ABS, grabbed a fistful of brake, and I landed in a 3-foot pile of freshly cut grass from the day before. And 6 feet to the right was a tree, and 6 feet to the left was a tree. And I was like a freaking field goal. I split the freaking uprights. And then this guy, he's like in his 50s at the time. You know, he was one of those Caldwell Banker guys. He had like the yellow, blazer on. And he had a car phone, not a cell phone, but he had a car phone. And he stops and he's like, I saw you go down. I can't believe you're even standing up. I was about to call the cop. You okay? And he drove me into New Rochelle, and I got a pickup truck. But I learned my best lesson there is ride at your own pace, because, we all love it so much. So you go 10 miles an hour slower, but you live to ride another
True.
day. So
Actually, I got a public service announcement coming out this week. My Thursday release is going to be ride your own ride. It's a saying that I was given when I was a novice rider, and it stuck with me all these years. And I actually didn't really understand what ride your own ride meant back then, but now I fully understand what ride your own ride means. And there's a lot of people that don't. That's one thing that I try and stress to people when they go out on rides with me is just ride your own ride. So, by the way, check back into the channel on Thursday, because I got a video coming out about riding your own ride. But
can't wait for that. Oh, and I meant to say thank you for your service too, since it was the birthday of the military. Totally appreciate
it's
that.
an honor.
My dad was in the Army. He was a sharpshooter in the Army, and just thank you for
It's a
that.
fun time.
My boys just got promoted. My oldest got promoted to 03E. He's an officer now, about to finish anesthesiology school, and the younger one just
He's gonna be rich. Can I borrow money from him? Those anesthesiologists make like 800 grand a year, and they work like 6 hours a day.
he's the only. Listen, he gets paid to go to school.
I believe.
Thank you, United States military. For that.
Right. And they don't have to do the operation. They just put you under, and they're like, okay.
I gotta tell you, the regular paycheck though ain't all that special. So
Anesthesiologist?
you get the same base pay, whatever your rank is, no matter what you do. You could be a brain surgeon; it don't matter.
Okay. All right.
You're
For an anesthesiologist, like in the normal world. Yeah.
He's about to retire from the Navy, so he's already got them to pay his anesthesiology school.
Oh,
He
wow.
was so young, he'll be less than 40 when he retires.
Oh, my God.
So he can be anesthesiology and then get his pay. Oh, it's fucking smart.
That's
Hey,
great.
Len, for city riding,
Yeah.
what kind of tips would you give to the viewers at home as far as like being safe for city? Obviously, Butter doesn't like riding in the city. He's got his hashtag #5boroughs. I don't really ride in the city that much either, unless I'm just like literally just going somewhere to park, get some ramen, and then come back home. But for people that ride in the city, what is your like, 5, like the 10 commandments, the 5 commandments for riding in the city? What do you got?
Yeah. Never have a drop of alcohol in you. Number one. Number two, I started watching Dan, the fireman,
Yeah, he's got good
videos.
stuff. I want to get him on here too.
And
Actually,
I pretend like he's on my shoulder in the city, right? Where's my exit? Where, and Brian Carroll and Eric Anderson, one of the founders of Scorpion, are both pilots, right? And they've been on my show. And they both said that riding a bike is a lot like flying an airplane, because half the time you're not flying or riding, you're planning for the worst. Okay, if the engine goes out, where can I go? What's my exit? Probably one of the most important things, and I'm Italian, right? So we're hot-blooded in everything we do. And for the single women out there, no, just kidding. But dial 1-800. No. It is so one of the reasons I've always struggled with, and since I've had the podcast, it's definitely gone down, is road rage. Because I feel if somebody cuts me off or does something bad, and it does make me angry, but I feel like telling them off or I never touch them. I never get physical, but I got a big mouth and I use it, right? I used to use it. I would call them every name in the book, and where, sailors would get embarrassed, quite frankly. But when you do that, nobody wins, because A, You never know what people are carrying, number one. Number two, it makes your attention span less, so something else can happen. Um, and then I would also say, the potholes, like, not only do you have to watch the road ahead of you, but you have to watch the road below you.
Yeah.
And that is like the toughest thing. Let's see Keith Code, who I am one of the biggest fans in the world, right? Keith, but riding around a track is easy. Try riding in Manhattan.
Truth.
That's the hard part, right? I want to have Keith Code come out here and see him, and we hope to have him. I want to have him on my show one day. And then, there's not a lot of taxis now because of COVID, and now it's even harder because Uber drivers, and God bless Uber drivers. I've had two friends that drove Uber, one for 3 years, one in between jobs. But they are overworked, underpaid, and they don't always make the best decisions. So if you see a C, on a license plate, that means it's a taxi or an Uber type thing. So pay especially attention to those because they will be making quick turns, short stops.
Dude, I had an Uber driver. When I got in his car, he said it was the second day after he got his license. I was like, I thought I was going to die. They're bad. They're really, really bad. They're not experienced drivers.
Yeah. And I would also have the tire pressure up. I try to have it up a little bit more in the city, just, for the wheels, because, a wheel is like $300 plus the tire. So I try to raise my tire pressure up maybe a couple of pounds over what they recommend.
I think it was probably one of the first times I ever went into the city. It was about a year ago, actually. I was, again, going into the city to get some ramen. I was on my 636, and I remember hitting this one pothole that I saw it, but didn't have enough time to react to it. And my front tire went down into this pothole and popped back up so hard that I actually hit my chin on the tank. It popped up that high that it just smacked me, and I looked around to see if anybody was like looking at me or if anybody noticed it had happened. Obviously, nobody was really like there to see me or say anything about it, but that scared the bejesus out of me. Potholes in the city, at least New York City, are ridiculous. And the scanning down the road, it helps a little bit, but from a block away, you just see a little area. You don't really see how deep this thing goes. It's crazy in New York City.
Yeah, Queens has some, and during COVID, I actually did a borough tour with the exception of Staten Island. So I would, but there was no traffic, right? During
Staten Island, it's just been newly repaved.
Really? Okay.
Shout out to the Highway Patrol guys who haven't bothered us. They're newly 440. Man. Woo!
Oh, I'll have to try that and pay the $24 toll or whatever. But we're talking about daughters, right? So I have so many wonderful memories of my daughter, and I would say some of the better ones are her and I on my motorcycle in the city. She was here. Well, she comes every Christmas, and hopefully this Christmas. But it was raining, and it was like 40 degrees, and she's like, "I want to see the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center." I'm like, "It's kind of raining. You should." Oh, okay. In front, like I had the thing. I took a selfie, but rain aside, if it's good weather and it's like a weekend, it is something else to ride through the wonderful part of Manhattan, borough of Manhattan, when you're not in a hurry and you have nowhere special to be. If you go on the West Side Highway, the views of Jersey, you go on the FDR, you got some great views. So it's 80% sucks. Don't get me wrong, but the 20% of it that is good when there's not a lot of traffic is almost like nothing else. I mean, Josh, you've lived in Asian cities, right? Big cities, and it can be. How did you feel when you were living in those cities? And were you riding when you were living there, or no?
I was, but it's a little bit different because people there have a much different mentality.
They accept us.
The caged drivers and the motorcyclists, they have this unspoken bond. Like one, motorcyclists are vulnerable, and most car drivers will just let you go. If you want to bob and weave through traffic, if you want to get to the front of the pack, they're cool with that. Like, go do your motorcycle scooter thing. They don't care. And the motorcyclists are also super respectful too. They're not cutting people off or rev bombing people going through the intersection or anything like that. So it's, in my experience, at least in Japan where I was at, super respectful, super safe. There's still accidents, don't get me wrong. Actually, a good friend of mine, he's actually just now going back to Japan after being shipped back to the States for like intensive care, surgery,
Oh boy.
and what's it called, physical therapy, because a taxi driver tried to make a U-turn in front of him, and he broadsided the taxi. But that's a rare occasion. Most of the time, people in other countries are a lot more. Well, at least like I said, in Japan, they're a little bit more like coherent. They're a little bit more
Okay.
aware of the motorcycle culture. So I don't know. It's definitely a culture shock coming here and riding versus where I was riding in Japan for sure.
Butter, you
But
been down?
Point to a body part that hasn't been down.
All right.
right.
Got hit by a UPS truck on the BQE. He couldn't hold the turn, clipped the back of my tire. I went down at my FZR 600. I bought a new FZR 600. I was trying to be cool on my bike, on my cell phone, coming down.
What?
Shit.
Butter, come on, you can't do that.
I mean, I was going like 10 miles an hour. There's no cars. I'm on
Right.
McDonald Avenue by the cemetery, by Greenwood Cemetery. And I answered the phone because the light had turned red. And at that time, there was only one light. It was like you start all the way by the beginning of the cemetery. By the time you got to Caton Avenue, the light was already red. So I'm like slowing down, chilling. And I didn't see this fucking crater. And I hit this crater and my fucking front wheel locked. And I go sliding into the back of a car. Lucky I had like this special jacket that just slid. And all it did was get dirty. It didn't even break.
Wow.
When the guy was like, I'm going to cut the jacket, I was like, no. This thing just saved my life. I don't want to mess it up. I'm going to wear it the next time I go riding. I broke my collarbone. So, you know, I've had, went down at the track. You know, I mean, I've had most of the accidents I've had are just like, even like, you know, fucking around on the four-wheeler, jumping track and shit like that. But I don't really, like I said, in the last, after my brother had his accident, my brother got hit by a car, same thing. Car made a left turn from the right lane, hit him, he went up flying, and then he hit him again. So he's paralyzed from the waist down.
Your brother?
Yeah. So, you know, shout out to my brother Kazi. I know he watches.
Yeah.
You know, so since that time, I kind of took a little time off. And then when I decided to get back into riding, I just said, don't, like, there's people that they go to the 5 boroughs. They go to the Cucci Frido spot, the fucking, the Slovaki spot, the gyro spot. Fuck all that shit. I could do that shit in my fucking car. I could Uber eat that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna put my life in danger to get on my bike to go eat a fucking taco, have a taco truck, when I can have that shit Ubered to my fucking house. I want to
The
ride.
White Castle, I would consider it, but
You know,
every time I go like on Queens, should I stop there? There's one right, you know, on the sunny side over there.
So for me, as I get older, my reflexes are slower. At night, I barely see, so I don't want to have to play with my life. I have a lot of people depend on me here at home, so I just want to make sure I get back to them. But for me, I take pride in going out early in the morning. I think I took Josh. We went out to eat breakfast at one of my favorite places in the Poconos.
Yeah.
Ride was amazing, man. I mean, you take that 33. Once you come off of 78 and you shoot up 33 to Pennsylvania, you can hold your bike full throttle for wow. There's no cops, no nothing. It's a beautiful ride, you know. Len, hopefully we can get together and get a nice ride in, man.
I would love that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, whether it be street bike or Indian, we can do it. I'm definitely down for it. Take you on a nice ride. Have you been up by 32?
30. We used to go to. Were you a Marcus Dairy guy in the day?
Yeah. Back in the days when we used to, when old man Mayo at Prospect Power Sports, he used to take us. We used to go Sunday rides, Yamaha Day.
Yeah.
He would always get together with his daughter, his son Sean from Brooklyn Made. We would go up to Dansbury, Connecticut. No helmet law. Everybody would come out, take off their helmets.
Yeah.
We would have a good time up there, but it would be like 30, 40 bikes he would have. But now I go to this place. I didn't get much time this year with all the events I had going on. And COVID, off at exit 19. It's Catersville. You ever been to Catersville?
I have not. I don't think so.
There's a beautiful waterfall. It's on the opposite side of where New York Safety Track is. So New York Safety is on the other side of Hunter Mountain to the west.
Okay.
So Catersville is to the east side. And when you get off of 19, there's roads Route 22, Route
I
20,
love 22.
gorgeous, man.
22 to 35 to Route 7.
So 32, when you go up 32, you get all these snake turns that go up the mountain,
Yeah.
and then go back around the mountain, it goes down, and it's just fucking, you're following the trail of the water. So it's just like bang, bang, bang. And then if you take it across west, going towards Hunter Mountain, it gets even nicer, man. It's just fucking.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. I've been to every state east of the Mississippi on my motorcycle at various times, not all at once, but the Blue Ridge Mountains, Skyline Drive, Maine, Acadia National Park. Have you ever been there in Maine?
I heard about it because there's a boat that I want to take, because my dream ride is to Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. I missed a ferry by 45 seconds.
Let's do it.
2006.
Let's do
So I
it,
had
man.
to go to
Let's
St.
do it.
John's, Newfoundland, Canada, which I didn't know that. Did you know, like, St. John's in Canada is actually an hour ahead of us? They're like, they're so far east. And I actually missed, like, you know how they say guys suck with directions? It's actually true with me, because I missed a whole country once, because I was in New York State. No, I was in Maine, and the sign says, turn off for Canada, 12 miles. And it was fall. It was fall. It was like late October. So, I'm going like 60 miles an hour. And I was on a Yamaha Radiant, I think it was. No, I was on a Honda CB750F, and started raining a little bit, just drizzle. And then, so you kind of time it out in your head. 12 miles should be about 10 minutes or so going. 20 minutes later, oh, maybe I was going slower, looking, then like, where the hell is Canada? So I ended up missing Canada, and I had to double back. And then by this time, it's raining pretty hard. And then one time, the second time I went to Canada, I didn't miss it, but I was in the summers, like August, and I'm going up to Toronto. It's I call them cicadas. Cicadas, those. Yeah, they're like the size of freaking like Purdue chickens. And I had a little windshield, and it was like somebody was like, you're in the military, firing a machine gun of cicadas at me, like, bah, 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 bah. And you looked, my whole body was covered with cicadas, and it was terrible.
Yo, but I'm down to do the Nova Scotia, and I have a friend who lives up there, and she's been with me for years.
Do they ride?
They don't ride. They're an older couple.
Okay.
I met them on vacation in Jamaica, and we stood friends ever since. And every time I look up like list of amazing places, Nova Scotia's on the top 5.
The Cabot Trail. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to retire there, man, when I'm still, young enough to ride,
So I think we should do it sometime June, July, when the weather's hotter up there, because it's hotter in May and June, and I think that would make a nice run.
We'll give all our luggage to Josh. He can put it in the bus. He'll be our chase.
I got you.
He'll be our chase vehicle.
I got you.
So there's a ferry that you can take in Maine into Nova Scotia.
That's the one I missed. I missed it by 45 seconds.
So if you can come up with weekends are great for me, but if you come up with a great time of year that you feel is fit, let's get together, maybe the three of us, and we take a ride up there, man. I'm down for it. I think, in this later stage of my life, it's all about where the fuck are we going? Smoky Mountains, Tail of the Dragon, Route 66. Like, I want to do it all. Like, let's get it in, Fuck all this New York City, going here, going there. I want to be the fuck out.
That's a good plan. That's a good plan for sure.
Now we got the bus. We can talk about the bus up.
Not quite yet. Don't be starting making plans too early, but it's in the works. It's in the works.
Oh, now that we talk about that, I have to definitely send you the information for the guy to help you put it together. He just left my house doing some stuff here. So shout out to I want to shout out Fox. He's watching the show. He's actually texting us on the group chat. He's making fun of Len the comedian. Some other people were talking about we was goofing about the Ducatis. Everybody's laughing about the little Ducati joke. Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I forgot it's one of my guys' birthday, man. Happy birthday to G Money, man. Hustle King G Money. He's our ambassador of goodwill. Does a lot of charity work. He's really a man's man. Love the guy. So just want to wish him a happy birthday. Happy Sweet 16, my friend.
Yo, actually, you didn't mention in the beginning, but before we continue, tell people about your YouTube channel. Like, what you just started a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had it up before. It was like I used to do some go to restaurants and give reviews, which I think my friend was just telling me like, yo, you should relive it. But I think so. The YouTube channel is just basically just giving people information on stuff within the motorcycle world. Um, you know, this year we had a record number of motorcycle sales. Um, so in 2019, we had a certain number of vehicles, right, for the dealership.
Mm.
And when 2020 came around, we said, "Yeah, we can do the same numbers. We kind of like added more of one bike than we did of the others because we saw the sales were better in certain areas. Excuse me. And COVID hit. Now, when COVID hit, we were shut down for the first month and a half. And we were like, wow, we're fucked with all this inventory. We're going to be so fucking screwed. Come May 21st, we done sold more bikes than we did all of last year.
Really?
Yeah. A couple of my friends that own dealerships, that work at dealerships, that have jet skis and boats, have sold more boats and jet skis prior to May, beginning of June, than they had in 2 years. So the industry went bananas. Bikes, there's no rebates. People think pink. I mean, the same bike I bought a year ago, I bought it this year. I paid $1,000 more because there's nothing going on. Like the industry's not giving up anything. They're not, no, nothing. So I said to myself, that means there's a lot more idiots on the road. Harley Davidson even had a small spike considering they were dropping. Indian had a spike. The Yamahas, like as always, they're always doing well. Couldn't keep R6s in stock. R1s were blown out the door. It was hard to find an R1M. And I said to myself, dude, that means there's just gonna be more dead people, more careless riders. The business is gonna boom because when there's more new riders, there's more accidents. I mean, I've seen guys literally in years that I've been doing this, literally leaving the dealership and crash 50 feet away, totaled the bike
From the dealership?
from the dealership. Listen, I myself crashed leaving the dealership years ago. I didn't realize the tires were still so waxy, and I hit like a wet spot, and it happens. It fucking happens, and it's happened to a lot of people, and so I felt the need to like try to give some biker advice. I was watching an episode of Demons Row. Obviously, Soul's the Ghost. Try to get him on our show. He's got a really good talk show about the 1% life and motorcycle life in general. And so he brought up he was talking about an incident that happened in, I think it's California, with a bike club. This kid, must have got some money, like the Harley, and he jumps on his super glide, whatever street glide, and he tries to like pull up to the pack. But the pack, if you're in a motorcycle club, whether it be 1% or 99%, you don't. That's a stupid move. That's like you're walking through Bedford Stuyvesant and there's a group of dudes shooting dice and you try to walk through the dice game. That was basically that's what happened to this kid. So shit happened, but it happens a lot, and I think people feel the need to try to impress someone, and it's not the way to go. There's times where I'm riding, and you've seen it, like we've come back from a long ride and we're just fucking holding the throttle at 50 just because we're tired. And then some bonehead feels the need to like, oh, look at all these bikers and want to blow past us or blow next to us. And I think it's stupid. So I think just going out there, giving out good information, what not to do, what to do, do's and don'ts of the road. I had a friend that was riding in the left lane, far left lane. So there's nothing there but the guardrail, his lane, and the middle lane and right lane. So he's on the inner part of the left lane, closer to the center lane, and some bozo blow past him on the left side in the left lane. That's fucking crazy, bro.
That, actually.
So yeah, my buddy Kevin Smith was talking about it. I think you've seen it on the top of the page. So yeah, I think that was a real bone move. I think just like that. I'm on the fight. I'm coming after him. This is gonna die, but I'm gunning after him.
Getting some feedback. Glenn, you there? Can you hear me?
Glenn, you good?
He just had to do a computer restart.
It's that spectrum shit he's got going on over
Yeah.
there. Oh no, he might be in a Verizon zone. Yeah, so so the podcast is just there to just give people good information, like what not to do, what to do. You respect others. That's it, just people.
Are you hearing that too?
Yeah, yeah. I just people kind of have a lot of respect for what I have to say, and I surround myself with good people. So a lot of new kids, I hope that they take, they just take the advice and just do the right thing, don't get themselves in trouble, show respect.
That makes sense.
Want to try Len again?
He's in. He's in the chat. I don't know if he can hear us or not.
So I don't know why we can't hear him.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
But he seems like it was really good. I look forward to riding him. Unfortunately, we're in November, and we won't be able to.
He's gonna come back in. See if we can close out with him.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Another thing I want to mention too before we get out this evening, something I was gonna throw out there at the end, but I finally hit the button on CRMP Media LLC, so I've officially legitimized my media production and other schemes that I'm up to very soon, which I'm gonna holler at you about in the near future. As far as this show and event that you have going on, I might be out there able to cut some decals for you. So as far as a vendor booth, I might be able to cut some decals vinyl for people right there on the spot. So
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Definitely have you out there. This event is gonna be really epic and shit. Len, you can hear us, Len?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey.
Hey,
All right.
hey.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there.
You're good. You're good.
It's bad.
So
Did you know that I was the winner of the $10,000 grand prize?
unfortunately, no. You were second up, actually.
Your mic cut off when we announcing the winner.
Yeah, it's probably Francesca Kang. You all love her.
Hey, Len, you live by Bonchon Chicken, right?
Love Bonchon. Best wing.
Listen, we have to do Bonchon together for sure.
yeah.
Before Christmas, sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we definitely got to sit down and.
Yeah. Or if you want to I'll bring some to the Tuesday night meet. You guys are here Tuesdays, but yeah.
I love to do the show with you, man. Definitely, we could definitely talk a nice safety show, some track stuff. Love to get you to the track, man.
You can reminisce about all the times you were on your phone on the BQE.
Actually,
Although I will say,
Go ahead.
one thing I would say also, and I know this is a little controversial, but at least in Manhattan or even in the 5 boroughs, I see people with their phones on their handlebars, and I get the reasons for that. But
that is the worst thing.
Worst thing ever.
Yes.
Maybe if you're in the country, in the Poconos, where you have a little bit of extra time, but your phone should be on you. If you go down, you're going to need it near you. But I see everybody. It's like they're playing, Tetris on their freaking phones. Oh, I just listened to music. But yeah, you're going to change the playlist, whatever. I would I did it once, and I almost died in the Midtown Tunnel. I stopped an eighth of an inch away from another UPS truck. And after that, I decided never to do it again.
Yeah, don't condone any of those rider mounts. I do have a Cena for music. I just listen to my music.
Yeah.
I'm out riding. I want to entertain myself. That's fine. But I see these bozos that are doing live video shoots and listen. You want to say?
Hold
Want
on.
to call
hold
me
on.
out? Calling you
I
a
want
bozo?
to play devil's advocate.
You're playing with your life.
I want to be a
You're playing
bozo
with-
real quick. I want to be a bozo because I can't tell you how many times. Well, I don't use my phone mount. I do have a phone mount. I never mount it to my bike. I usually have my phone in my pocket, but I can't tell you how many times. The last time actually that this happened, I was on my way to the Gotham Moto Depot opening and going to a place I'm not familiar with. I had the Bluetooth in my ear. It was giving me directions along the way. And I can't tell you how long it took me to get to freaking GDM because it was like, turn left at whatever street. And then I'm looking around like, what street is this? What? Make a U-turn at whatever street. And then I'm thinking like,
You using your Android phone?
it's the
buddy?
same stuff. It's the same stuff. But if I had a graphical thing in front of me to show me, oh wow, you can only turn left on this street, and you can only turn right on this street, and this is the one I need to make a U-turn at. All right, well, you guys don't.
I can't sympathize.
You don't
Because
sympathize.
the Apple phone does not do
I
that.
hate
to me.
that. I hate it so much.
Yeah, maybe when you're going slow and you're getting closer and something like that, but in stop and go. And Josh, I know you want to listen, to your Backstreet Boys playlist. I get that. I've seen the playlist, and I actually like some of those songs, believe it or not. But you should have the right. Keep it in
You
your
shared the
pocket.
playlist with me. You sent me the playlist. What are you talking about?
No, mine was Menudo because I like Ricky Martin.
Oh,
man.
okay. That's okay. That's right. That's right.
Living La Vida Loca. Remember when he came out on Oprah and he's like, I want to make an announcement. I'm, and Oprah was like, yeah, we knew.
Everybody just sat there and looked at him like, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of knew. It's cool.
What?
Respect type thing.
I think he hasn't done anything since the Versace movie. I mean, he was great in that though. He was pretty
I
good.
think he decided he wanted to lay low a little bit and stay in his. Was it Mexico? He's from? Where is he from? Or Dominican Republic?
Who? Ricky Martin?
Yeah.
He's Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, but I know I think he kind of burnt out a little bit, at least. And I don't know what he's doing now, but he's getting a lot of royalty checks. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm not sending them any. We said living La Vida Loca, but I ain't sending them anything.
Well, yeah, Len, man. Let's definitely get together soon. If we get a good day during the week, I guess Josh will send me a number. But if we get
off work 5,
I get off at 3.
oh my! What time you start? 7?
7. Yeah,
Good for you.
that's a great schedule because my body's already up at 5 in the morning. I'm used to it.
Right.
And tomorrow I got the day off.
How far do you have to go to work? You take the subway to work, or how do you get to work?
City provides me with a nice, cushy, comfortable vehicle, gas and tow.
Oh, beautiful. All right.
So I'm assigned all over the city. So I go to the 5 boroughs, Jersey, Long Island. So I could be anywhere.
Long Island too, huh?
Yeah, I can roll over bed at 6:30 and be at work at 7, or sometimes I got to be up at 5 to drive an hour and a half. So
Okay.
it all depends on where I'm going to be. Usually when I'm in the city from where I'm at, I can go as far as the Riga Avenue in the Bronx and
Right.
make it in 30 minutes. At 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock, it's quiet. It's not that bad for me.
There's a good White Castle on Fordham Road.
Len's all about White Castle.
Off the Bronx too. I was actually on East Fordham Road today. Holy God, Jesus!
What?
If you ride a motorcycle on East Fordham Road or West Tremont, that is Suicide City.
Wow.
It's like riding the bulls.
Well, the Mashaloo is actually nice, right? The Mashaloo is just like a 3-mile little thing. Nobody's ever on it, and it's a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but for the Bronx, it's probably one of the best roads in the Bronx.
As we say in Spanish, a mí no se me perdió un carajo en el Bronx. Don't like the Bronx. Could care less for the fucking Bronx. If the Yankees weren't in the Bronx, I would have no business in the Bronx.
Right.
The Bronx shouldn't even exist. I apologize. Everything. There's nothing in the fuck. There's no roads to ride up there. If I cross the Whitestone, it's the Hutchinson straight up.
Right. All right.
That's it.
That's the great thing about this country. You can believe whatever you want to believe, no matter how crazy it is. But the Bronx has a lot of history, man. You got Van Cortlandt Park. I went to Fordham, Manhattan College. I used to bartend at 155th and Grand Concourse years and years ago.
Bugs on the Grand Concourse. Yeah, no, I got history in the Bronx too.
A lot of history out there, but my dad grew up in East New York. He's from really East New York. His family had an ice cream factory in the 50s there and into the 60s, so that's what he knew.
Hey, fellas, it's about that time. We should probably start winding down right about now. So
Sure.
I want to go around and let everybody have their closing comments before we get out of here. Len, please talk about your podcast. Tell people, well, especially how to find you, like what services you're on, why they should check you out. Shout out to the people at home, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's arrivealivepodcast.com. I don't know if you can see the shirt in the background, but we got shirts. They're not for sale. I give them to friends and family.
I got mine back there too. But it's really dark.
Thank you. And
am I the only guy being left out everywhere?
I got an extra large. What do you need? X? I got
2X.
I got 2X's too. I'm a 2X. I get it, baby. And Spotify, Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play. The most recent episode is a very interesting episode because you ride an Indian butter. It's Portia Taylor. She's lives out in LA. She is a brand ambassador for Indian motorcycles, but most importantly, she rode 2,800 miles from LA to Washington, D.C. to speak at the National March on Washington this summer, where Martin Luther King spoke 1963. So it would be 57 years ago. And we had a great talk, not only about motorcycle safety, because she's an iron butt. She'll put on 800 miles like me and you go to the 7-Eleven for a Slurpee.
What is her handle? Her Instagram handle?
Portia Taylor, and she is the editor-in-chief of and founder of Black Girls Ride magazine. And she is an Instagram expert, and we had a really nice talk. She's into a lot of 90s. She remembered Kid and Play and Al B. Shore. Remember Al B. Shore?
Hell yeah!
She was a fan of Al's. Wow. And Al, she rides with him now. Al rides, I think, a sport bike. And she met Al Sharpton, so we kind of had a little joke. I said, because us New Yorkers remember Al when he was a little heavier. Yeah. Al was like a big boy back in the day. So I said to her, what kind of motorcycle do you think Al Sharpton would ride? Because I picture him like a Prince motorcycle, like all decked out.
Like the Honda?
Like a pretty boy, because he's like a little bit of a pretty boy. And she said, nah, I picture him on a bagger. I'm like, okay. But yeah, we had a fun podcast. So Arrive Alive Podcast, all one word.com.
How often do you put out the podcast?
Twice a month.
Is there like a set week? Do you do it like the second week and the fourth week, or the first week and the third week? Or
yeah, I could say I answer that. It's whenever I can get the guests. We're scheduling guests. The next, who's the next guest going to be? It might be a gentleman who owns a motorcycle touring company, and I'm spacing on his name. But it'll definitely be out before Thanksgiving, and you can download it. And please rate, listen, and review and share with your friends.
The Arrive Alive podcast website, it's underneath Len's video stream right now. You can see it right there. And like you said, it's on pretty much every streaming audio platform, so you can find it. If you just search for Arrive Alive, it'll pop up. It'll be there. So, Len, thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. I can't wait to get some wings, some rides, go to Nova Scotia with Josh carrying our clothes. It'll be great.
Butter, what you got? What you got for closing comments, man?
Yeah.
Hey, Len, man, it was a pleasure, man. Pleasure and an honor. We definitely got to chop it up. I got to get your number from Josh.
Yep.
Guys, the weather's getting a little colder. Be mindful of your tire pressure. This is the time where a lot of bikes go down. So I just want to keep everybody mindful. Weather's starting to get a little bad, colder. So it's going to take a little bit more time for you guys who don't like to spend money on good tires that get hot warm fast. So, just make sure your tire pressure is good. And yeah, really excited to link up with Len. Thanks, Josh. This was a good conversation with someone that shares a lot with me. Shout out to my girl, Tatiana. She sent me this cool shirt, some hankies. She's down in Florida. She's always showing love. I just send her a bunch of clothes too. So Len, I'll when we meet up, we'll exchange. I got clothes for my clothing line. I also I'm a partner and owner at a printing company, so it's called Cotton Hustle. So you can check us out on Instagram. We do printing, embroidery, we do sublimation, we make socks, we can do bottles, anything you need. Let me know. I'll take good care of you, buddy. We do masks, we do whatever you need, anything you need. So definitely hook us up. Shout out to my partner Alberto, he's been working hard in the shop. I've been out there just promoting, but he's been working really hard.
That's what's up. All right, and with that, thanks for joining in. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel. We do this every Tuesday for the most part. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Beyond the Apex. Me, Butter, whatever guests we have on that week. We talk about motorcycle, everything, and then some. It's always a good time. I have a lot of fun. I promise you will too. And as I always say, leave this world better than you found it. Peace.